Hey guys, thanks for tuning back into Pixel Rich Games, where we strive and make it super hard, super fun. Last week we did a full strong attack damage build for Master Cycle Hunter on Zelda, so I figured why not do the same for Flail Link. For those who haven't seen the Zelda vid, links in the description. Before we kick this off, don't forget to smash the subscribe button if you haven't yet, and like this video to get YouTube's algorithm to support the channel. So let's address the first two questions that I think a lot of people will be curious about. 1. Is this build apocalyptic viable? Absolutely. Like my previous videos, all the clips here were taken in apocalyptic mode. I'll admit that full attack speed flailing is stronger than this, but when that becomes old for you, I highly recommend this build, and I'm sure it'll add some freshness in your gaming experience. Second question that people who've seen my strongest Zelda vid will have is probably, which one is stronger? Full strong attack cycle Zelda or full strong attack Flail Link? I'd say overall, Zelda's stronger for a lot of reasons, but this build actually performed better than I had imagined. I really thought that this would be too janky that it wouldn't be good enough to make a video on, but I was actually surprised when I played it. Zelda was kinda like owning stuff with a machine gun, and this build is more like a sniper. Okay, let's have a look at the weapon now. We have a total of 48% strong attack damage. And for the weapon base itself, we're running an ancient bladed flail, and its standing strong attack is our laser sniper. Let's start with how this build handles normal monsters. This part, I gotta say, is the most boring part about this build, because it's practically the same with an attack speed build. 4x2x is still the best way that I found for this task. So in this aspect, this is already weaker compared to an attack speed build. But don't let this be a deal breaker. Remember, this is a sniper build, and we all know that snipers aren't the best in close quarter combat, but is awesome from a distance, right? Playing this build actually reminds me of Counter-Strike, because we can line enemies up and damage all of them in a single shot. Best part is, this works not only with normal monsters, but also with bosses. Talking about boss fights, the strategies that I use in EX missions are very much the same with the ones that I use in a natural disaster, so in the interest of time, let's head there now. As usual, we deal with the hot and cold Talus first. Now keep in mind that this is a sniper build, and this'll make Talus go crazy, and most likely for their attack that's countered by Cryonis. Don't use Cryonis, stick with our remote bomb. For all Talus fights in this game, our main objective should always be to take out both its arms. Now, if you don't know how to do that yet, which I doubt because I always show that here, but just in case, this is how you do that with Link. This is way easier to do with this build because by default, we should be from a good distance away from the Talus. After taking its arms off comes the fun part. It's sniping time, baby. This is actually a bit more difficult than you think, and you're probably thinking that I have bad aim, but let me tell you that the hitbox of the gem mine is super weird. I find that aiming for the bottommost part, where the gem mine connects to the Talus, increases my chances of hitting its weak point meter. You'll know what I'm saying once you give this build a go. Now let's talk about the Hinox fight. Once more, we need to maintain our distance from enemies, and this is true for all bosses. When we do this against the Hinox, its preferred options drops to 2. It'll either throw a box at us that we counter with magnesis, or it'll do its remote bomb countered attack. This makes this fight so easy. One big thing to remember is, and I don't know why this happens, it's probably a bug of some sort. Most of the times, magnesis stops working for me, so I would have to dodge the box. That sucks, I know, but it's all good, because whenever it's not doing any of these two attacks, we can simply snipe its eye to work our way to a weak point attack. The challenge here is the Hinox is too tall, so we do need that distance to be able to aim at its eye. Otherwise, we won't be able to because of the limit of how high we can point the camera up. I'd say the Hinox is the easiest boss to own with this build. Okay, time to move on to the Guardian. The strats that I have for this fight are very similar with my full strong attack damage Zelda strats. Only difference is there's actually a small chance that we are able to hit the Guardian's weak point meter when we aim for its eye, unlike Zelda. Aside from that, it's pretty much the same. This fight will turn into a laser fiesta. From my experience, it's easier to get the Guardian with Link. It's probably because we have a longer range, so the Guardian will always walk towards us. Okay, last on the list is the Lynel. Again, for me, this is easier with Link. Just aim at its head and you'll be able to get its weak point meter. One difference that I see is the Lynel gets more chances to do its double dash attack and jumping spinning attack against Link. Getting flurry rushes against a double dash attack is pretty useful, but against a spinning attack, just don't. It's way better to snipe the Lynel after it lands or use its stasis before sniping, because it'll have its weak point meter exposed. Either way, we get huge chunks off of its weak point meter. Two other attacks that it would use are the remote bomb countered and the Crayonist countered attacks. Unlike the Talus fight, it's ideal that we counter these attacks with rune abilities, cause that'll buy us a lot of time to shoot its weak point meter. Okay, what do you think? Pretty cool, right? This build is super refreshing to play, so I highly recommend that you give it a go. Alright, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video if you liked it. If not, just like it all the same. Hit that bell to get notified whenever I have new content out. See you on my next vid, guys. Stay healthy, keep safe, and God bless us all.